Hey Chris, nice to see you, my friend. Alright, let's continue this amazing card review. Paladin card secret. 1 mana, like every other Paladin secret, no surrender secret. When your opponent I just said secret 5 times. When your opponent casts a spell, give your minions +2 health. Pretty insane. Pretty insane, right? Because 1 mana cards in general have a very minor effect. Usually the effects have something to do with deal 2 damage to something, or you know, heal for 2, like the Voodoo Doctor, or +2 health. But this gives every minion +2 health. So if you buff 2 minions by +2 health, that's already crazy powerful. And it can also save a minion compared to Noble Sacrifice. So this is definitely not even close to the best Paladin secret. It's very similar to the power level of Avenge, but Avenge had an RNG effect to it, like sometimes you buffed something you didn't want to buff, but this buffs every minion by +2 health, and this is like when your opponent casts a spell, so it's a very, very good aggro card on top of it, because usually your opponent will use spells to get rid of your board. I wonder if how the ordering of this card is gonna work, because like let's say I play a Flame Strike on your 4 HP minions, if this card will proc and then buff everything by +2 HP and everything survives, or if this is after your opponent casted a spell. So I could go Flame Strike, everything is dead, and then this secret procs. So we gotta wait and see how the ordering or the sequencing of this works, because usually secrets proc after you casted a spell, but this says when your opponent casts a spell, so gonna be interesting to see. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be after a spell, just because of how powerful this secret is. Regardless of how the ordering of this card works, it's a very good secret. And Secret Paladin has already gotten quite a few cards this expansion, and this is like a very, very good card on top of it. I can definitely see Aggro Secret Paladin also, because I made the spreadsheet recently with all the different archetypes. With this card on top of it, Aggro Secret Paladin definitely seems to be viable in this expansion. So we have Iva Conscript Err. It is a 2 mana 2/2 priest 2-drop, and priest always is lacking the infamous 2-drop just because of the classic / basic set. Priest doesn't have any 2-drops, priest has 1-drops with the cleric, a pretty good 1-drop with that, and usually priest needs a 2-drop or a 3-drop from the expansion to be viable. Is this a good 2-drop? Absolutely. Does it really fit in current priest decks? It's a weird 2-drop, because priest usually wants to have high health minions. This is not a high health minion. But do you really do with this guy? It's a Death Rattle minion, and priest has Death Rattle synergies, and it's going to be interesting in what kind of priest deck you will play this card. Like I said, it is counterintuitive with priest, how priest wants to play priest. It's a good card regardless. It's a 2 mana 2/2 with a big upside. It's a Death Rattle minion, so it's relevant regardless. So it's a good card. There's like a little bit of a question mark with what's gonna happen with priest this expansion, but yeah, regardless of that, it is a powerful card. I have to fix my green screen a little bit. Maybe if I close the window. It's better. I was talking about this card already last time. I did talk about the Fluffy Burlock. I did talk about this card, these cards. I did not talk about this card yet. So the next card is Mass Resurrection. Summon 3 friendly minions that died in this game. So we have seen many of these resurrect effects in the past. A lot of these resurrect effects always keep rotating out of standard. We have resurrect effects since the like first or second expansion. And the most recent one that rotated out was like, you know, Barnes and Big Priest, like the package with in that era, but it's still viable in Wild. Currently, we still have Big Priest with like Shadow Essence, Resurrect, and those shenanigans, and a lot of these cards are rotating out again, and they're bringing back Big Priest apparently, or they're trying to bring it back. So a more balanced version, which I like. This card is compared to the Spellstone that Priest has, which you can upgrade and you resurrect 4 minions. This is a flat 9 mana card. Radiant Elemental is rotating out, so the way how you play Big Priest right now is to kill your opponent. I think that was never their real intention. Maybe, I mean, they should have known about it, that people will try to build decks around Velen and Maligos and Radiant Elemental and stuff, just to one-shot your opponent. Like, this is the first thing I would test, is like, how are OTK combos viable with certain cards, and with 7 mana spell, it's easily viable, as we know, even with the 9 mana Cloning Gallery, which is still staying in the game, by the way. Very important to note. All the cards, Shadow Visions is rotating out, which is a big one, but we still have Smites, Mind Blasts, Welens, Maligos still in the game, so the two most important cards that are leaving the set, which are very important for the OTK, are Shadow Visions and Radiant Elemental. So OTKs are not possible, I would say. So only if you resurrect and things survive on the board. So this seems like a value-oriented resurrect card. It is a powerful card if you focus around building a deck with only big minions. Then resurrecting 3 big minions, let's say Ysera, 3 Yseras, because Lich King will rotate out. Who knows, whatever the big minions are going to be. In terms of value, this is a very powerful value card, but you cannot really abuse this for now with the currently existing cards to just one turn kill your opponent. So I like this card in terms of design. Maybe they're still testing the resurrect mechanics for, like, you know, for the future. It's a little bit of a boring design because they're bringing back Big Priest for the 3rd time in Standard. That's like really, it's just like reprinting cards at this point with just, you know, a little bit different. So I don't know how to, I don't like it in terms of, you know, creativity. I'm not too excited about it, but it's definitely a powerful card. So the next card is a new Shaman 1-drop. Always very excited about 1-drops and 2-drops. Sludge Slurper. Battlecry, add a Lackey to your hand, overload 1. And all the Lackeys are like pretty powerful quote-unquote 2-drops for 1 mana. So you can play this guy, overload for 1, and play the Lackey the next turn. It is random, so it's not discover, so that's a little bit unfortunate. You kind of want a different Lackey in a different situation. But regardless of that, Lackeys are very powerful minions. So Shaman is getting a very good 1-drop. Can you even count this a 1-drop, 1.5 drop? Well, you will play it in 1, but you overload. It is a Battlecry effect, which is relevant for Hagata and for Shadowwalk, which are still staying in the game. You get more cards from Shadowwalk, you get more cards from Hagata, because this guy counts as 2 minions. It's a Murloc, can be relevant, as always, especially in Wild. Powerful effect for a 1 mana card. Yeah, it's a good card. Overload, for Overload aggro Shaman decks. You will definitely, this card is a very good aggro Shaman card, but I can also see it being played in a like more control playstyle Shaman. So Shaman definitely seems to be making a comeback in this expansion for sure, and we will see a lot of these Lackey cards being played in a lot of different decks. Good card. So the next card is a Druid card, Crystal Stag. It's a 5 mana 4/4 beast, rush, battlecry. If you've restored 5 health this game, summon a copy of this. So Druid is getting a lot of like health regeneration instead of armor generation creation. Armor gain this expansion, which I'm a big fan of. Druid did have plus health in the beginning with Ancient of Lore and stuff, and then they moved away from that design concept and decided to make Druid the biggest armor gain class in the game instead of Warrior for God knows what reason. And for the people that think Warrior could make more armor, or Bark Warrior could make more armor, then Druid has never played a game of Hearthstone, because Druid did by far gain the most armor, like, and yeah, it's just crazy how many armor gain cards Druid had. Very good ones that cycle and whatnot. Now Druid will have heal. Interesting, I like it. I think this is more fitting to the entire class design concept and class flavor. I think Druid is more like a heal card class, more than like armor generation. Like armor generation or gaining armor really doesn't fit well with Druid in general. Like it just doesn't. So how good is this card? Rush Battlecry 4/4. It's like Rush 4/4 for 5 mana is below average. Like if you look at the Darius for Warrior, it is a 5 mana 4/4 Rush, but if you kill something, you get +2/+2. It's a very big deal. But the thing is, if you have restored 5 health this game, you get 2 copies, and 2 4/4s is insane removal tool. So if you get this effect off, it's crazy powerful. It's a beast too, which might be relevant. We have never played some health regeneration Druid archetype. They try to push like restore health with Priest and with Paladin. With Priest it did work to some extent, but with Paladin it never took off, because in Hearthstone you have to control the board, and like usually someone plays a minion, you remove it, someone plays a minion, you remove it, and once you start taking face damage, you need like good comeback tools. And I'm not sure, so Druid has to be behind on board, take face damage, and then be able to come back. This guy is very powerful for 5 mana, but healing for 5 before turn 5 is pretty difficult. We gotta wait and see how difficult it's gonna be, because overheal doesn't count. It's not like armor. Getting 5 armor is much easier than actually healing for 5. And people, like once this effect is in the game, people will start playing around it. It's like, it's kind of like playing around Battle Rage against Warrior. You will just, you know, only deal 4 damage to the face, because you know Crystal Stack is coming on 5, so he doesn't get the effect. And then you make a big board and then you attack it once, so the Druid can't heal for 5. So it seems like an effect that is too easy to play around, but you gotta wait and see obviously first. But yeah, that's like my initial impressions of this type of mechanic. Too easy to play around. What's the word that I was looking for? So the next card we have is a Warlock card. Fellowed Betrug. Whenever you draw a minion, summon a copy with Rush that dies at the end of the turn. A lot of people are very excited about this card. The first thing that comes to mind is you can play this on turn 10 as an 8 mana card, and at your life tab, if you draw a minion, you summon it, or a copy of the minion, and it dies at the end of the turn. Extremely powerful effect, because you don't lose the minion that you draw. The only downside is the opponent knows what kind of minion you draw, or you drew, so he can play around it. But besides that, it's just a very powerful effect, and it's pretty beefy, so it's difficult to remove him as well. 7 health is not, you know, that little. It's a legendary minion, so with the new Ultra Farm, you can get these guys randomly, which is powerful. Like if you have a couple of those, and imagine you get this guy, and then or you draw Fellow at Betrug from the life tab, and then summon a copy. Just like endless chargers. Powerful effect, super powerful effect for board control especially. You have a free removal essentially with this guy. There's obviously the draw RNG aspect of it. If you live tap and you don't draw a minion, it's an 8 mana 5/7, which is pretty terrible. So you would like wanna play a deck with a lot of minions. We had like Spiteful Warlocks at times, and where the chances are so high that you draw a minion. I'm not sure how people will play these decks or build these decks, but very high RNG aspect to it. Like if you draw Mountain Giant, that's insane. If you draw a spell, it's useless. It's kind of like a high rolly card. Not too sure what to think about it. People seem to be excited about it, so you should probably also be excited about it if you like this kind of effect. I feel like it's too RNG and I would prefer consistency. But we gotta wait and see how this will actually play out in an actual game of Hearthstone. It's an okay card, I would say. I would rate this card pretty poorly, but I've seen so many people be excited about this card that I'm like, you sure? But yeah, let's give it a chance. Next card is Heckle Bot. It's a neutral minion. It's a 4 mana 3/8 taunt. Pretty powerful already. Battlecry, your opponent summons a minion from their deck. Wow. So this is like the new Dirty Red. Instead of a 2 mana 2/6, we have a 4 mana 3/8. Or what was his name? Dread something. We had a 3 mana 3/8 taunt that had a definite effect to summon a minion from the opponent's deck. This is weaker, but it's a battle cry, so you have the opportunity to immediately summon it and take it out. It's an anti-combo card, which we desperately needed right now in the game. A lot of combo tools are rotating out, so I'm not sure if you will need this card, but it's nice to have it in the game for the next 2 years. It's very nice to have these type of cards. I mean, it really looks like Blizzard is like following the community, at least to some extent, because there was a lot of outcry of people wanting Dirty Red to come back into the game, and this is basically just like a reprint. Important things to point out about this card is that it's a mech. So Warrior, which I already predict to be a top tier class, if not the best class in the game, can get this from Omega Assembly and from the Dr. Boom Hero Power. And especially Control Warrior, who's gonna play for Fatigue, can get this guy in Fatigue games from the Dr. Boom Hero Power and from Omega Assembly. So I think this is just insane, an insane buff for Warrior, and Warrior will already be able to play this card in the deck naturally. Zeliax is still in the game, so you can play this guy into Zeliax. Way more decks or control decks will be able to play like a Zeliax package. Like you don't want to just put in Zeliax in your deck without any max, but now you can play this guy and it works perfectly in curve with Zeliax as well. Yes, obviously there's the downside that the opponent gets a minion, and if your opponent is playing Big Priest, which could be possible with the new Priest card, then you know this card is not that great on curve at least. But regardless of that, very powerful card. We've seen it before that this type of effect is very, very powerful to have in Hearthstone. Will definitely be abused. Now with also on top of it the new specialist format, where we have a sideboard, a poor man's sideboard implemented. This card will see pretty much play in almost any sideboard of any class. It's a perfect sideboard card, and I really expect Blizzard to print more sideboard-esque cards if they wanna continue with the specialist format route. So one of the most interesting cards of the expansion, one of the most impactful cards of the expansion, and a card that will probably see some of the most play of the expansion in the next 2 years. Not just in the beginning of the rotation, but throughout upcoming expansions. This card will stay relevant for the next 2 years, guaranteed. This might be already like a guarantee that Control Warrior will be good for the entire year, even with upcoming expansions, because Dr. Boom will stay in the game, Assembly will stay in the game, and Heckle Bot. We might actually have a control meta. Next up we have 2 Shaman cards, Mug Morpher and Walking Fountain. Mug Morpher is a 5 mana 4/4 battlecry, transform into a 4/4 copy of a different minion in your deck. It's kind of like a meme-esque card. Shaman doesn't have too crazy minions you wanna transform into. Sure, you could transform into Shadow Walk, and then Yawful Brewmaster Shadow Walk, and then you have your 2 Shadow Walks. You play one, and then you play the second one, but that's more like a meme. Yeah, it's not a very powerful card in Shaman. In other classes, yes, but not in Shaman. I can't see it. It's kind of like a filler card, which is kind of sad. It's not like that interesting at all because it's in Shaman. So a class filler card, which is kind of sad to see, but well, at least it's not free Shaman. Walking Fountain. Now that's what I'm talking about. It's an 8 mana 4/8 Lifesteal Rush Wind Fury Elemental. Absolutely insane card. Better than Alakir because it has Lifesteal. It has more attack than Alakir. And the Alakir Divine Shield is only relevant for cards like Corpse Taker mostly, but Corpse Taker is no longer in the game. So this card is just insane. You can play it twice, it's not even a legendary. It's an insane control card, and I already predict Control Shaman to be viable. I will definitely play Control Shaman myself a lot. And it's an elemental. Elemental Shaman is still viable. If it wasn't viable now because of the hero cards, it was viable before that. It's to some extent viable right now. It's kind of like a tier 2.5 deck. But this card will be insane. It's the best elemental in the game. And yeah, you can play it twice, you can discover it, it buffs every other elemental card just because of the elemental synergy and that you can get this from create elemental cards. It's a super relevant card. Like, most people know this card is super strong, but I think they're a little bit underestimated for the fact of how much this will push the Shaman class. It will push all Shaman archetypes. If there are multiple Shaman archetypes, I think there will be at least 2. I think there will be at least 3, because I can really see mid-range Shaman, mid-range Elemental Shaman, Control Shaman, and Aggro Shaman to be viable. And this will really enable and push all 3 archetypes at the same time. I can see this card even in Aggro Shaman. Maybe it's too slow as an 8 mana card, but I can see it like being discovered from like Elemental 2-drops and whatnot and being relevant. This card is insane for the Shaman class. Shaman will be coming back. Guaranteed. Another 2 cards. Yay. We have Commander Risa. It's a 3 mana 4/3 Paladin card. Your secrets trigger twice. Even without these last two, including this Paladin card, I could already see Secret Paladin being viable in the upcoming expansion, with Bakuro moving to Hall of Fame. And Paladin is getting a very, very powerful secret, potentially the best secret ever. And this is a card that would fit perfectly in Aggro Secret Paladin. And with the new secret, Aggro Secret Paladin will be definitely a viable deck. Very powerful card, will definitely see play. I kind of like that Paladin has established itself a little bit of the aggro class, and yeah, it's being viable is nice. I think it's very important and very healthy for the game to have board-centric aggro decks be viable. It stops decks from being too greedy. I think going too greedy is not very healthy. Like, that games always go to fatigue and people just try to outreach each other to the max. I really like viable aggro decks to, for the ecosystem of the game. The next card we have is Ray of Frost. It's a mage card. It's a 1-mana spell, twin spell, freeze a minion. If it's already frozen, deal 2 damage to it. Not very excited about the mage cards because Mana Worm is no longer in the game. I can really see, aggro mage, spell mage, or some sort of aggro mages or spell damage mages with Mana Worm, but without Mana Worm, these cards all seem a little anticlimactic. Some people call this card insane because of the 2-drop we will get to in a bit. But if Mage is getting a good 1-drop, then I can see aggro spell mage again for the millionth time. But without a good 1-drop, not too excited just yet. On paper, it's a decent card, very interesting. Twin spells, interesting design. Has multiple effects. I'm curious to see how these cards will play out, how relevant they will be. Twin spells are so interesting because they also keep your hand size, like you do something and you still maintain your hand size, which is relevant for cards like Astromancer. Usually Mage didn't have good ways to, keep the hand size up if you're forced to play multiple cards, because Mage has very bad card draw cards. Except you were playing Barco Mage. So a card like this, very interesting. Not too excited just yet, but we're gonna wait and see. A good 1-drop is key here for the viability of aggro mage. So let's jump right into the mage 2-drop, which everyone is so excited about. It's Mana Cyclone. It's a 2-mana 2/2 elemental, which is relevant. Maybe not so much anymore because RIP Jaina. Battle cry for each spell you've cast this turn, add a random mage spell to your hand. So Miracle Mage potentially, especially now with the twin spell we just saw for 1 mana. You just rapid fire, you play Sorcerer's Apprentice, you play this guy, you play a bunch of 1 mana spells, and you get a bunch of random spells. You can get more twin spells, get a bajillion spells, you spam arcane missiles and whatnot. It's very powerful, and I can definitely see spell mage being a thing again if mage gets decent 1-drops. Maybe Secret Eater or Secret Keeper will be good enough if mage gets like another secret support card in this expansion. Mage has good 2-drops. Sorcerer's Apprentice and this guy are very powerful. This is not really a 2-drop. It's like combo potential, but I really for now Mage is really missing the 1-drop slot. Like if Mage had Mana Worm, 1 mana Mana Worm right now with these 2 cards, that's already like enough for rapid fire spell damage mage or whatever you want to call it. I have a feeling that Mage will get a good one drop, either a neutral one or a class specific one. Maybe something that creates lackeys, because every class is getting something that creates lackeys. If Mage gets like a one drop that creates a lackey, like a 1 mana 1/1 create a lackey battle cry or something like that, boah, that would be insane. Yeah, good card. No matter what happens, Mana Cyclone, very powerful card. Curve decks are dependent on one drops. Not every archetype is dependent on a one drop. This kind of playstyle needs one drops. It needs the one drops, two drops, three drops. If you want to play midrange hunter, any midrange deck, or if you want to play aggro decks, you need powerful one drops and two drops and three drops. If you want to play control deck, you don't need one drops. The same goes for combo decks. You don't need one drops. Next card is a very cool card. It's a Paladin class card. It's a 10 mana legendary Nozari, 10 mana 4/12 dragon. Battlecry restore both heroes to full health. Yeah, Reno Jackson without a condition. Drawback is you heal your opponent to full HP. So 100% a control card. Very powerful effect, as we have seen from Reno Jackson. Healing yourself full is an insanely powerful effect. It's so powerful that it's worth to build your entire deck around it. This guy has the dragon tag, so you can just play a dragon paladin deck, and even if he just stays in your hand, he is useful because he enables your other dragons. Paladin is getting quite a few dragons, so Dragon Paladin will be a thing potentially. I'm still worried about the ways how you will generate value as Dragon Control Paladin. I still don't think with currently existing or really revealed cards you can outvalue like cards like Dr. Boom or Hagata or Dire Frenzy, and this is what Control Paladin lacked definitely before, like because Uther was the worst DK in terms of value. You just couldn't compete with other control decks in terms of value, and the dragons are super cute, but will Control Paladin, Dragon Control Paladin get enough juice to outvalue the DKs? We gotta wait and see. All these cards are super awesome, but if you wanna play control deck, you gotta compete with the existing Death Knight cards. I would be super excited to play control Dragon Paladin, but I have definitely my doubts. It's a very cool designed card, regardless. Zul'jin is also still relevant, because you have still Dire Frenzy. And Zul'jin plus Dire Frenzy gives you also basically almost, not infinite value, but enough value to out-fatigue everything. It's a good card, but is Control Dragon Paladin viable? That's a different story. I mean, it's getting a lot of cards. Maybe with the 7 mana spell, and maybe it will have enough tools. Because it gets hand buff mechanic, but we have already seen that hand buff mechanic is not really working out. Unfortunately, not too excited for Dragon Paladin, even though it's getting so cool cards, and I used to play Control Paladin a lot. I won like some of my first tournaments with Control Paladin. I had Control Paladin in almost any lineup in the beginning. Oh, tomorrow is the 1st of April, by the way. I will talk about this in a bit. Unseen Saboteur. By the way, Gotrix, for people that ask, we have a new Twitch policy because Tempostorm is partnered with Twitch, and basically a lot of the big esports organizations that are partnered with Twitch have to play 6 minutes of ads. Every streamer that is partnered with a team that is partnered with Twitch has to play 6 minutes of ads every hour, including me, because I'm part of Tempostorm. What do you mean partnered again? I'm with Tempostorm for a long time. But there's like a new Twitch policy. Yeah, like I've seen this already before with Cloud9 and TSM. Like I've seen Cloud9 streamers playing this many ads, and now it hit Tempo Storm as well. And I got it told yesterday. So basically, from now on, I have to. Yeah, but it's a new policy, kind of. It's starting April 1st. So basically, today or slash tomorrow. I'm doing it today because of practice, but it starts tomorrow, kind of. Today or tomorrow. So I do it today to be safe. So you have to play 6 minutes of ads every hour. I mean, you can use ad block or sub. You will not see ads anyways. I mean, the people that sub, that's great, but you can just use ad block. I mean, most people are using ad block anyways, so it doesn't really affect you anyways, but it's something I have to do now officially, or I get in trouble. It's a lot per hour, but not if you think about TV. I mean, it's twitch.tv, right? But the only thing is how I'm gonna split it. So if I play 6 minutes every hour, or if I play 3 minutes every 30 minutes, or if I play 1.5 minutes every 15 minutes, or if I do 2 minutes every 20 minutes. Like, what is the best option or what's the worst option? So the next card is Unseen Saboteur. So you guys know what's up. That's important. Unseen Saboteur. Battlecry, your opponent casts a spell from their hand, targets chosen randomly. Interesting card. It's another anti-combo card. In these expansions, I'm a huge fan of it. So those combo decks don't get out of control. So you have an you have an anti-combo minion and an anti-combo spell, like a minion that combos spells. A minion that counters combo spells. So there we go. Very interesting. It would use cards like Mind Blasts from their hand, which are relevant or were relevant. I'm not sure if this will be relevant. Naturalize as well, which seems kind of crazy. I mean, I know Naturalize is going to Hall of Fame, but similar kind of effects would be affected by this card. It might actually be important against other control decks. Because, for example, Control Warrior will not play shield blocks in a control mirror. So you can play this guy, so he plays shield block and draws a card, but he doesn't want to draw a card. It's definitely a very cool card, very important card. I mean, random. It is what it is. But yeah, you can pull a Brawl. Like, he has a full board and then you play this and he casts Brawl. I don't know, there's so many funny things you can do with this card. Like, your opponent doesn't want to go Fatigue. He has Ultimate Infestation in hand. You play this guy and then he casts Ultimate Infestation. Bam. You make him overdraw 10 cards. It's a very powerful card. Played in the right time, in the right moment. And if you get the right card. It makes your opponent also waste removals. Also, you can hit your opponent's minions. Like, if he has like a kill command, he can kill command his own face, whatever. It's a very powerful card. I can't believe they printed the card like this. It's a very interesting and extremely powerful card. And yeah, when he has already a secret active, you pull a second secret from the hand. I mean, that's like a very not so powerful example, but I get it. Oh yeah, you pull a Blessing of Kings and buff this guy. There's so many crazy things that will happen with this card. Like, super crazy things. I still like it. New priest card, Shadowy Figure. 2 mana, 2/2, another 2-drop for priest, which is a big deal. Battlecry transform into a 2/2 copy of a friendly Death Rattle minion. So priest is already getting a Death Rattle minion. And yeah, this is crazy. Very crazy powerful card. Like, if you would have a Cairn Not sure if Can will make a comeback. It might potentially with the new value Resurrect Priest. I can see it. And then you can basically play a 2-mana Blood Bane. Actually, you would get a 2-mana Can. It's crazy powerful. You would actually get a 2-mana Can. It's like a 2-mana Faceless for your own minions. It's ridiculous. It's crazy powerful. Ridiculous card. What can I say? The more crazy definitely minions, the crazier this card gets. Absolutely off the charts, insane card. Gonna get nerfed. This will make Priest viable. This card. I like that it's on your own minions. So this requires setup. I like it. It's just crazy powerful. What can we say? I really like that Priest and Paladin are getting like control love again, because those used to be the old school control classes, and I really like to see more control classes being viable than just Warlock and Warrior. I really want to see Priest Paladin, like Dragon Control Paladin, Control Shaman, Control Warrior, Control Priest, and yeah, all these different control decks to be viable. That would be super awesome. This is a very powerful card and definitely will help some form of value Resurrect Priest to be viable. Awesome card. You can play this plus that guy. Man, imagine this had Taunt. If this was like a gigantic Sludge Belcher. Oh my flipping god. You can play this guy and then the 2 mana on turn 10 to have 2 of those. You can play this guy. You can play 2 of those guys. You can play this and that guy. Oof, it's super crazy. Yeah, this is gonna be fun. Definitely Priest is gonna be fun, man. Oh, so many viable cards this expansion. Mage Control, I can't see it. Would be a fantastic sideboard card if such a thing existed. Well, we do have sideboards. So, the final card, Duel. Summon a minion from each player's deck, they attack each other. It's kind of like Legion Commander from Dota. Or from Artifact. Duel. But you summon something from the deck. It's an anti-fatigue card, potentially as well. Paladin has Tyrion, which will probably win most duels. I don't know, man, if this how good this card is. You can play around it, so you play minions that win duels. It's weird that this is a Paladin card. It's an interesting sideboard card for sure. Weird card. Just get Tyrion lol forehead. But it can also be an anti... Oh, it's 5 mana. Why is it so expensive? I thought this was a 2 mana card. Why is it a 5 mana card? I feel like the mana cost is random. Well, another like class specific anti-combo card, which is super awesome because combo... I think Blizzard has really learned that combo decks ruined the gaming experience in Hearthstone. And the more anti-combo cards, the better. And class specific combo cards that stay in the game for 2 years. Just in case. Just for your Maligosses, Maligoose, and Togwaggles and whatnot. Can counter potentially. Yeah, it's cheating out minions. But your opponent is also getting a minion. I mean, it's a good anti-aggro card as well if you think about it. Because aggro decks will mostly play a bunch of small minions. It's kind of like how Joust should have been. If you play a bunch of big dragons or whatever, big minions like Tyrion, and your opponent's playing aggro deck, it's good. Like you're cheating out a minion, it's kind of like big Paladin. Big Paladin, hell yeah, dude. And interesting card, anti-combo to card. It's not like crazy powerful, Shivala. It's not like crazy powerful. I feel like it's like a sideboard card or a one-off card, something like that. It's good to have it in the game for sure. We'll definitely see play.